we're joined by veteran political strategist, former DNC senior advisor Steve McMahon, and former Romney, Bush, and Reagan advisor Ed Rogers. And Ed, I'll start with you. I mean,
sure.
What does Trump and Manafort and the campaign need to do to try to get back on track?
Get sane. Literally. Talk about things that matter. Have some message discipline. Have a message that is truly Republican. Don't attack John McCain. Don't attack Paul Ryan. Don't attack American heroes, dead soldiers. Get into the world of the lucid. It's a real problem, and something John touched on. And I hear, I don't know if it includes Manafort, that there's a mutiny brewing within the Trump
What does that mean?
That some critical mass of staff may come forward and say, we're wasting our time here. More of the same is undesirable. We're not contributing to the party. We're not contributing to anything that we care about. If things don't change, we're out of here.
And given what you've seen and what you know, perhaps, is there any evidence that Mr. Trump could get back on the track you're describing?
Well, I guess he could, but there's nothing that I've seen that suggests he thinks it's required. I think that he lives in a world where he is flawless, where every utterance is destined for granted, and that he can do no wrong. And it's getting worse, and more you're hearing the C word, crazy. People are saying the man is crazy, and they're saying it in a way that suggests they mean it and that they aren't being insulting.
But top Republicans are still endorsing him.
Well, there's a lot of people that are flat-footed and stuck. They want to support the nominee of the party. They're certainly not for Hillary Clinton. And so you have a lot of people, you know, my partner, Haley Barbour included, that, well, I'm not for Hillary Clinton. The race is now binary. I'm going to support the Republican nominee. A lot of people have been at peace with that. Even that is eroding.
Right.
Because of Trump's behavior.
Well, Steve, you know, normally we set these up to have a disagreement, but I'm not sure you are necessary here.
Well, I was going to yield my time.
Steve.
I was going to yield my time to
We'll
Ed.
figure something.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will figure it out. But I guess, you know, when you look at the Clinton campaign at this point, do they perhaps fall into the trap of being complacent in any way?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, they understand that they've got some work to do themselves. Hillary Clinton's numbers on honest and trustworthy, frankly, aren't where they want them to be. This is a great opportunity, though, for them to both continue to burnish her credentials and her trustworthiness and the things that they want to build, and also point out the problems with Donald Trump. I mean, you're seeing now respected, moderate Republicans saying things like Ed Rollins just said about Donald Trump. You see a mutiny boiling inside his campaign, and I think, and I've heard that there are many that might be about to walk out. And then you now hear today stories about the Republican Party and their rules for replacing a nominee. And, you know, I think this thing is a classic case where the wheels are coming off the bus. It's becoming apparent to everybody inside and outside the Republican Party. And the only real question is how long people like Haley Barbour and others, who themselves are respected establishment Republicans, will continue to support this man when he's a real problem as a nominee and would be very, very dangerous as a president.
Ed, you want to respond to that? I mean, how long will it be?
That is the developing consensus, that this is broken and it's not going to fix itself.
And what about this reference that Mr.
worse,
McMahon just made to the idea that you know, it's starting to, he would withdraw somehow? I mean, it sounds ridiculous. I assume it is ridiculous.
Well, it should be. It's never happened before. But I do know that there is underway, independently, parallel of each other, a lot of different looks at party law and rule over what happens if a nominee is deemed to be incapacitated, unfit, and cannot serve. That is being critiqued, studied, and analyzed.
By whom?
Even as we speak, by smart lawyers in Washington, D.C.
Working for
and
whom?
By the way,
I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess. I'd throw somebody under the bus.
By the way, on Morning Joe this morning, Joe Scarborough told a story that Eamon has reported that of a foreign policy expert who was briefing Donald Trump on the nuclear capability of the United States, and Trump's questions were, why can't we use these nuclear weapons if we have them? This man is not fit to be president.
But none of this, I mean, is any of this going to turn off his supporters? They've been strong with him from the beginning. He's had comments like this from the very beginning. He's had problems getting the establishment Republicans on board, Steve.
And that's what freezes a lot of Republicans, that be it Rob Portman or Senator Toomey or a lot of our House candidates, their first 35% of their vote is Trump vote. They can't alienate that vote. They can't break their pick with Trump and keep their re-election coalition together. So that's the big problem.
It is a big problem. And
Yeah.
it is 30 or 35%, but 30 or 35%, if you're running for president, is not sufficient to win. And at some point, people like Rob Portman are going to have to look at the 65% that think Trump is certifiable and wonder how they're going to build on the 30% base that they have to get to their own 50%, because Rob Portman isn't going to win with 35% of the vote, and standing with Donald Trump is probably the best way to ensure that he doesn't get to 50. These people are going to have tough choices to make, and they're starting to make them, and I think you're going to see more and more Republicans, respected establishment Republicans, walking away from Donald Trump in the weeks to come.
All right, last word to you, Steve. Steve McMahon, Ed Rogers, thanks to you both.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks.